Good afternoon. Hi, my name's Brian Reed. I'm an Exchange Certified Master, and I've spent some time on the Exchange booth floor, and every question that I've had over the last 4 days has been this question. So clearly, this is the event of the show. Okay, so thank you for coming. All right. All right, so why do I need to keep an Exchange server on-prem when I move to the cloud? You read the documentation, and it says you leave one behind. Why? Why do I need to leave one behind? What can I do about it? Can I get rid of it? Right? Well, the answer is all to do with a thing called identity hybrid, which is really a term I made up. Okay, but it explains it very well. We're all very familiar with the idea of Exchange hybrid. Right? So Exchange hybrid gives me a shared experience between Exchange mailboxes on-premise and Exchange mailboxes in the cloud. I can do FreeBusy, I can do Mailflow, and it appears to be internal. Okay? And there's a whole bunch of things that hybrid from Exchange gives me. But to do Exchange hybrid, I need to sync my directories. I need to do identity hybrid. And it's identity hybrid that is the key to this big question. Okay? When I make a mailbox in Exchange server, I'm placing an object in AD, the user object or the group object, and I'm placing attributes against those objects. It's those attributes that drive this problem. It's not the mailbox data itself. Okay? So when I move to Exchange Online, I'm moving my mailbox data to Exchange Online, but my AD attributes, well, they're going up to Azure AD. And that's the problem, we could say, in this scenario. Okay? We move all our mailboxes to Exchange Online, we put all our mail data in Exchange Online. That has not changed where my AD attributes are. My AD attributes are still in AD. I'm still syncing them using Azure AD Connect from AD to Azure AD. And the answer to the big problem is called source of authority. Where actually can I change those attributes? Well, because they're read-only in the cloud, because the source of authority is on-premise, I can only change them on-premise. Okay? And so that's a term you may be familiar with, and that's the cause of the problem. So take a look at a diagram that I've got here. I've got an Exchange server on-premise in blue at the bottom. I've got my Active Directory, the old way. For some of you, the current way of doing things. And up in the cloud, up here, in orange, I've got my Exchange Online. I've drawn it as a server. It's many hundreds of thousands of servers, but it's a server. Okay? When we have Exchange on-premise, we have our Exchange server and our mailbox data in Exchange server. And that's represented by the email icon that I have there. But when I create a new mailbox, what I'm doing is I'm placing stuff in Active Directory as well. So I'm just going to do some drawing on here. I've lost my pen, so I'm going to use my finger. So the drawing's going to be dreadful. Okay? But if I have a user account, and that's a really dreadful person, there's my person. Okay? I create it in Active Directory. There's a whole bunch of attributes associated with that person. That might be their email addresses. That might be if the mailbox is moderated. That might be the permissions on the mailbox. Some of those are really obvious, like the display name or the email address. Some of those are less obvious, the mail tip that I might want on there. There's a whole range of attributes. And is that going to work? Thank you. Cool. Someone's given me a pen. Thank you. Okay. And so these attributes are in AD. So when I have AD Connect in place, Azure AD Connect comes into AD, synchronizes those attributes, and pushes them up to the cloud. It places them in Azure AD Connect, in Azure AD. Once they arrive in Azure AD, they get synced across to a separate directory that Exchange Online uses, a much less known directory. It's called EXODS, the Exchange Online directory. Okay? And that process is called backsync. Okay? So we have access to Azure Active Directory. EXODS backsync happens automatically behind the scenes. And so up in Exchange Online's directory, there's my user and all those attributes. Now, for example, one of those attributes on-premise will represent or will record the fact that it's a mailbox on-premise and the location of that mailbox. that it's in database 1, for example. Right? That attribute syncs itself all the way up to Exchange Online directory, and so Exchange Online knows that I have a mailbox on-premise because it represents an on-premise database. So if later on I move my mailbox to Exchange Online, okay, so I move my mailbox, the blue icon at the top, and my mailbox is now up in Exchange Online, and the process of moving it in a hybrid has made some changes. The first change that it's done is what was a mailbox, so I'm going to say MBX, what was a mailbox on-premise, that's now a mail user. And in the cloud, what was a mail user is now a mailbox, so the attribute type has swapped. Okay? But that doesn't stop the fact that the object is still mastered in Active Directory. Okay? And so I have to write my changes to Active Directory. Okay? So what happens if I uninstall my last Exchange server? I've moved all my mailboxes to the cloud. I don't need Exchange Hybrid anymore. I don't need FreeBusy, etc., etc. Those needs are gone. Well, if I remove my last Exchange server, I've done nothing about Identity Hybrid. I still have Identity Hybrid. I still have the source of the problem that is causing this question as to, can I get rid of my Exchange server on-premise when I've moved all my mailboxes to the cloud? If you go into the Exchange admin tools in the cloud, you make some changes, you get back errors about right outside your right scope, or it's read-only, or errors to that effect. That's because we can't change those attributes in Azure Active Directory. We can't change them in EXODS, and we can't change them in Azure Active Directory. We do not have a supported way of changing those attributes on-premise if we don't have an Exchange server on-premise. Now, this Exchange server that I have on-premise, don't think of it like an Exchange server when you had all your mailboxes there. Okay? For example, I had a question earlier today, Exchange Server 2019, recommended RAM, 128 gig of RAM. This is a management Exchange server. You could run it with 8 gig of RAM, 12 gig of RAM. It's not a server hosting and running user connectivity for mailboxes. It is just for you, the administrator, to administer these attributes in AD. If you get rid of this last Exchange server, your only way, really, to change those attributes is things like add the edit, opening up Active Directory user computers, and poking around in those attributes and changing them. Now, you can do that. Okay? It's not going to break things, but it's only going to work if you get it right. And that's the problem. I can go into the Exchange admin tool and say, I want a new email address. It will do it correctly. But if I go into add the edit, I've got to know the structure. I've got to know the attribute to change. I've got to know the structure of the attribute to change. I've got to know the workflow and the way that attribute it should be structured. So for example, I've got to know the primary SMTP address is in proxy addresses and starts with capital SMTP. And I can only have one of them. So the rules of the consistency of the application are necessary to know. Whereas I don't need to know that if I have an Exchange server doing my management for me. I also have a better scripting engine. So I have Exchange Management Shell, and I have a nice PowerShell interface. And I know half of you here go, ugh, PowerShell. Okay? But it's better than get AD user, for example, and set AD user. Shh, don't tell the AD team I said that. Okay. For example, some of the attributes that are important. This is not a limit to the list of attributes that are important. Let's flick over to my PC. And, oh, look, wrong screen, I didn't check. There we go, let's bring that over there. Okay. So I've got here a remote mailbox command, and I've done get remote mailbox. And that's also on the wrong screen, so let me just... Hey, there we go. Okay, now, how much of that have I got? About half? No, about a third. There's about a third of the attributes that get remote mailbox gets and sets. Okay? So I could scroll down that page, and I could have a look. They're all things that are to do with email. Okay? These are all set properly by Exchange Server. But if you're doing it yourself, well, what do you set for arbitration mailbox if you wanted to have it arbitrated? What do you set for in-place holds if you want to turn on a retention policy and a hold? The values to these matter, okay? And so using the Exchange tools are the supported way of doing that. And that's just, if I scroll up to the top here, that's just get remote mailbox. It's a remote user mailbox. That's the object I would create on premise. Okay? But if I close this one, that's not it. There's also get user. These are all the non-mail attributes that also are read only in the cloud and are written on premise. So if you get married and I want to change your display name, your first name, your last name. What else have we got in here that might be important? Password sets, SID histories, SAM account names. Those that sync to the cloud, they can only be changed on premise. And so there's a massive list, and it becomes very complicated to do that well yourself. Okay? So I've got a few there. Legacy Exchange DN, that's a brilliant one. To keep replyability in Outlook. You've got to keep that consistent across the organization. So it's very important. There are some exceptions, though, to the rule. Okay? Use a principal name. If you use ADFS or a third party that does federated authentication, you cannot change from one federated namespace to another without going through a managed namespace, so changing your domain name, your UPN, to an on Microsoft.com domain name. So you need to be able to change UPN in the cloud. Mobile number turns up in some MFA scenarios. So there's a handful of attributes that the source of authority can move to the cloud for particular scenarios. But the source of authority, when you have AD Connect installed, Azure AD Connect installed, the source of authority is AD. Therefore, you need something to manage all those AD attributes, and that's an Exchange server on premise. Okay? Now, when I say on premise, it could be a machine in, pick your hosting company of choice. It could be a machine in Azure. Okay? Small amount of RAM, not particularly expensive. It doesn't have to be a big, bulky server with loads of disk space, etc., that you would have had for an Exchange server. Okay. So, not a lot of RAM and disk. Right? They're just management servers. Right? It gives you a management shell. It gives you a UI. It gives you a PowerShell interface for management. Okay? You're updating AD in a supported way. The attributes are consistent. For example, Exchange will give you an email address policy so that you can guarantee that your users have a standard policy. Exchange will ensure uniqueness. You can't have a duplicate email address. None of that will be valid or guaranteeable if you don't use the Exchange tools. Okay. There are 9 attributes that sync back for Exchange Hybrid. That's useful to know just for reference. They sync back from EXODS to AD, and you configure that in AAD Connect by enabling Exchange Hybrid. But that's things like where your archive mailbox is and a handful of other things like that. So they're useful to know, but the majority, we saw it pages and pages and pages of attributes. They all get set in AD on-premise, right, because that's where your source of authority is. And because they get set there, here comes the question. Can I remove my last Exchange server? No, you can't. Right, well, you could, and you could lose all the stuff we've just talked about, and you could do it all manually, and you could you might make mistakes anyway. You're all great administrators, clearly, because you've all come to my talk, but that doesn't mean that you have made a good choice by doing that, and you can undo this. You can install an Exchange server and put those attributes back. But leaving an Exchange server on premise for your attribute management for Exchange is going to give you the best interface, the easiest way of doing it. And the problem, of course, is, and I've heard this today on the booth, that when the consultants come in and say, we'll move your Exchange to the cloud, we'll get rid of your Exchange servers on premise. Okay? Let's draw a little asterisk on there. Okay? With the exception of that one that I need to do the management for. Okay? But actually, if you have that one that you need to do the management for, well, you can use it as a mail relay as well. All your printers and scanners and multifunction devices, your applications and your SQL servers. What else did we have on the booth today? Yeah, that's about the scan of it. There's a whole lump of things that send email. Okay? Well, you could either pepper holes in your firewall for each of those applications to talk directly to Exchange Online, or you get all those applications and printers and scanners to talk to your Exchange server, and your Exchange server talks to Exchange Online. And if that's a big thing for your organization, well, maybe you'll have a load balancer in front of it and 2 Exchange servers on premise. So we started this question with, can I get rid of my Exchange server? And I've answered it with, no, you need 2. Okay. What you need exactly depends on your business, your organization, and your needs, okay? But the real answer is, don't get rid of your last Exchange server, keep it on premise. It's a management interface, it's an SMTP relay interface, and they're actually, the reverse of all that is, well, I would like to get rid of my last Exchange server. Well, in that case, you have to solve the problem of identity hybrid, okay? So you turn off Azure AD Connect, you break synchronization, your AD objects and your Azure AD objects are unrelated, okay? So you can log into AD and you can log into Azure AD, but the passwords will drift over time. Things like Intune and hybrid device join and anything else that does device management, the conditional access, MFA, you've got a Surface device like I've got here, it's got a camera in it, I log in with the camera, so facial recognition. That's my MFA challenge. I am doing multi-factor secure authentication because my device is in Azure AD as well as being in AD. Okay? So it's not just that Exchange Server is the problem. Exchange Server is a big piece of this, but there are so many other things in the cloud that benefit by having device synchronization and other attribute synchronization. That the consideration of saying, well, let's cut the link and go cloud only, actually it's a bigger question. To separate those two things or have an Exchange server for admin, I'd rather usually have the Exchange server for admin. So it's a small box, you're going to leave it behind, but you get much, much better administration. Okay. So, better mergers and acquisition scenarios. It's easier to deal with attributes if you're doing it supported. You are staying supported. It's much easier, what you got there, easier to upgrade Exchange server to the latest version. So for example, you're running Exchange 2010, you're going to move all your mailboxes to the cloud. What do? Well, you move your mailboxes to the cloud and then upgrade Exchange to 2016. Don't upgrade Exchange to 2016 and then move to the cloud. That's a much harder way of doing it. It's much easier to upgrade this management server and keep it in support when there's no mailboxes on it. Okay? And so all the things that you look at in the past and go, Exchange is difficult, Exchange is hard, we have to manage it and that's complex. A lot of that actually isn't true when it's just a management server. Okay? So we have lots to gain by doing this well. The documentation on this is in the link, so when you get the slides later on or you can search for this, you'll find the Microsoft documentation on that. Okay? But that takes me to the end of my 20 minutes. Please evaluate, and I hope you enjoy the last bit of the conference and Universal tonight. And if you've got any questions, I'll be here for a bit, and I'll be on the booth for a bit as well. Thank you very much.